Hey guys, hope y'all are doing great tonight. This is Zach and Philip with Real Career Young Money. Great to be with you guys again. It's a beautiful day here in Southeast Tennessee in Chattanooga. How are you doing, Philip?
Doing great, and very glad that the mask mandate has been lifted. We can sit beside each other.
Yeah, I have.
Hopefully, maybe scoot back just a little bit when we get sick.
Oh man.
Anyway, so guys, we're here today to talk about a little bit about real estate. So I've been involved in real estate for the past 6 or 7 years. Started out with my own home purchase, and then have basically moved from trying to buy other primary houses where I live in them to eventually buying rental houses. So we're gonna just talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah. Tell me, Philip, how long ago did you buy your first piece of property?
So when Lee and I were first married, I think it was 8 years ago. It was 8 years ago.
Okay. So you'd have been how old?
21.
21. Okay.
Yep. 21. Yep.
Okay.
And so we bought a single family residence in East Ridge.
Okay.
And it was a foreclosure. And we spent a whole lot of time looking at a bunch of houses. And my wife was very upset whenever a lot of them fell through. And I was determined to wait for a good deal.
Yeah. I bet she loved that.
So yeah, she loved that. She kind of got locked into each house, and me too a little bit. I'll fully admit.
Get that emotional connection, right?
Yeah. You're like, you can picture yourself there, you picture that lawn, but I think many times you just gotta look at the numbers, look at the square footage, make sure the layout is nice, and then at that point just go with whatever's the best deal.
All right, so you bought your first home 8 years ago.
Yep, $72,000.
Yep.
And by the way, the crazy thing was we found out that the heating and air unit was broken.
Oh no.
And then so we were like, all right, we're gonna take a second, we're gonna pray about it, and we're gonna wait maybe 4 or 5 days, see what happens. So it got relisted. We put in another offer. It's a HUD house.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it was accepted with the lower price, which included fixing the AC.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was a foreclosure, so we had to resubmit the offer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How much? When did you sell it?
So I ended up selling that place, which is my first primary residence, 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So I bought it for $70,000, and this was back in 2012. And
kind of at the bottom of the market. What was in the bottom of the market?
The bottom of the market was around 2008.
2008
or 9.
2089, but we were still pretty far down.
Yeah, we were way down there.
I mean, values hadn't risen much between 09
You
and
could pretty much have
2012.
bought most any house back then, and it would be a great deal based on today.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hindsight's 2020 there.
Yeah, it sure is. But anyway, we ended up selling the house for later for about $120.
Okay. Awesome.
So a good gain there.
Awesome.
But the way I got into rental houses was basically we had some kids and decided to get a bigger house, and so we moved up in house, and then I started renting out the other house.
Okay.
So it was kind of a good way to get into it. And then later we purchased another primary and then rented out the other house that we had bought. So then we had 2 rentals.
Yeah.
So eventually we decided, this rental thing's kind of cool, and we want to see what else we can do with it. We saved money, and then we ended up buying a duplex, and then now we did a triplex, and now we're trying to continue to expand.
Okay, that's awesome. What do you feel is kind of the people so many people dream about getting into the rental game. It'd be great if I had a tenant paying my mortgage every month. It's kind of the dream that a lot of people have. What do you think is the biggest barrier to entry that causes people not to get involved in that?
The biggest barrier to entry to not get involved.
Yeah. Or the biggest, kind of the holdback, the hesitation.
I think so many people want to just keep researching it and watch YouTube videos and not pull the trigger on just something.
Yeah.
And the thing to think about is with the first deal is to just do it and play it defensively. Don't try to make it like an absolute home run.
Yeah.
Try to make it a good solid base hit.
Yeah.
My first house ended up being a home run only because of the market kept going up.
Yeah.
But I think if it had been a base hit, I would have continued and it would have been in a very similar spot today.
Okay. What's been the hardest thing for you personally about buying and investing in real estate and selling real estate? What do you think is the most challenging thing?
I am terrible at fixing things. And so many people are like...
Don't call Philip as your handyman.
No. Yeah, I did not grow up in a family that taught me a lot about fixing things. I'm
Yeah.
terrible with cars, terrible with like, repairs. And so I've had to kind of develop the whole business where you basically hire everything out and try to make it that way, which is kind of a good and bad thing. One, if you're good at repairs, that's a benefit to you, right? Because you can fix your own stuff and you can do it cheaply.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, maybe my method of sourcing everything out allows you to get bigger faster.
Yeah.
So my overall goal, Zach, with the rentals is basically to be, by the time I'm 40, to be able to be like, I don't have to work unless I want to.
That's awesome.
That's the goal by 40. So I've got
Yeah.
10 years. I'm 30 now.
Yeah. Now you're talking about fixing stuff, you know, on the properties. I'm assuming, you know, that's kind of what you're alluding
Yep.
to. You know, when stuff goes wrong, do you use a property management company?
So I don't currently.
Okay.
I probably will eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the reason I don't is because I wanted to get some experience with that myself.
Yeah.
That way, whenever the property manager later says, you know, this is broken, I want to at least be with the repair guy watching him do it and understand, you know, I want to understand more about the house
Yeah.
before I do that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. When it comes to finding and, you know, kind of hunting out a property to buy, you know, what do you look for?
You know, one good rule, just in general rule of thumb, it's called the 1% rule. So the 1% rule is you want to be able to get 1% of the purchase price in rent every month. So Zach, if you take a property that costs $100,000, the 1% rule would qualify, meaning you can get $1,000 per month.
Okay.
And in general, if you're putting down, let's just say you're putting down 20% on that.
Yeah.
At the 1% rule, you're probably looking at about a 20% rate of return if you use debt.
Okay.
So if you're financing it, you're putting down 20%, you're at the 1% rule, you're about a 20% rate of return.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's a good return compared to the stock market.
Absolutely.
And plus, that doesn't include if the house continues to go up in value. Which
Oh,
it
that's not
has.
even taking into account
That
appreciation.
is not taking account appreciation.
Wow.
So that could
is-
end up being 30%.
Wow.
So-
Yeah.
so-
well, and this year it could have been 36%.
Or
2020.
more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Zach, a good way to think about real estate is I would say it's a great side hustle for me and a lot of people that eventually can turn into your main hustle. But think about it as like a power to be able to make like 20% a year on your money.
Yeah.
So you do have to have some initial startup money or at least some sweat equity. You do have to, I would say developing a good side business is probably critical first. But real estate's a great way to continue to grow as you get more money put aside.
Yeah.
20-30% a year, you can't get that in the stock market. At least I haven't been able to. Some people can, I can't.
No. You know, the people who can't get 20 or 30%, the problem is, you know, you get it 1 year and then the next year you're down on the doldrums, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much risk. Now, speaking of risk, what risks do you run into and with this as kind of your...
Well, I'm thinking about selling all my real
Side
estate
hustle.
and investing it in Dogecoin.
A Dogecoin, all right.
That's probably the
to
least
the moon.
No, that's a lot of risk right there. No, I think real estate definitely has some risk. There's legal risk. I know you're in insurance, so
Yeah.
you help me mitigate that risk. You help me
Yeah.
mitigate some of the legal risk, or at least is it legal risk or
Yeah,
is it
legal and real property, you know, physical damage
Yep.
and, you know, liability concerns, issues, all that. That's what we take care of for you.
Yep. And then additional risk would be, you know, if a tenant stops paying.
Yeah.
If COVID.
Have you had that happen?
So I've had people not pay for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I've kind of worked out things with them. I've never had to evict anybody.
It's a blessing.
I think that so many stories are told about fixing toilets and kicking out renters. That doesn't happen majority of the time. Majority of the time, if you buy a reasonably nice property, treat people reasonably well, check their credit, all that stuff before you do it right. Usually, it goes pretty smooth.
That's awesome.
And then, you know, you got the horror stories.
Yeah.
And eventually, if you have enough units, you're going to have a horror story.
People pouring Quikrete into the toilet.
Don't say that. As my insurance agent, I won't be calling.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Yeah, but that does not sound fun.
No, it happens. You know, I've had a few tenants or a few landlords who've had similar issues.
Sure.
It is rare though, like you say, as long as you're are doing your background checks, and checking out your tenants, making sure that they've been on time paying rent in the past, they've been good tenants, so you can help mitigate that risk, I suppose.
And Zach, your parents were your parents were real estate folks.
Yeah. My dad was in commercial real estate.
Growing up, did real estate treat them pretty well?
Yeah, it did. My dad was actually did a lot of rural farmland and then commercial farmland in Middle Georgia, so it did treat him very well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a blessing. But he pretty much stayed. That was kind of his niche. He actually made a lot of money selling chicken houses. Chicken houses is a big business in North Georgia. It's the chicken capital of the world. So meeting with the farmers out on their farms, and buying and selling and helping firms invest in those, and dealing with that. That was a big part of his business when I was growing up. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, basically we just throwing out some things about real estate today. Just let me know if you want to hear more about specific things. We can go more into the 1% rule. We can look at some of my houses and the deals that I've done, just so we can break them down and analyze them if that would help y'all. So y'all, comment, let us know what y'all would like to see about that.
And I have something to add to that. In Chattanooga right now, are you on the hunt for anything?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we're just bummed today because offer did not go through on a big six-place unit. But yeah, I'm definitely on the hunt right now. It's very difficult to find deals. Things are getting overbid. So I would encourage everybody that's watching to basically bid only what makes sense with your numbers. Because somebody else that's from California may be looking at your numbers, looking at the numbers, and they have so much cash that they just don't want it sitting there, that they're willing to basically get the house at terrible returns, but it's better than just sitting in cash.
So 0.5% versus a 1% rule. The 0.5%
yeah, things are going for just absolute nutso rates right now. So just only do what makes sense for you guys as far as follow your investing plan that you set for yourself. Not just what the market is at the moment.
Yeah, but if somebody knows of a property, a quad or a sixplex or something like that, and you're in the greater Chattanooga area, and you would like Philip to take a look at it, consider it. I'm sure you'd be more than willing to do that.
I'll pay a referral fee.
There we go, a referral fee. This video could be your trip to riches right here.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in with us. This is Zach and Philip.
You guys,
Real Career Young Money.
Yeah, you guys take care.
Thank you.